Hi, I'm Jenny Williams, and welcome to 60 Minutes to Six Figures, where we have free online training. And today I am super excited to bring you secrets of Facebook marketing. Lots of agents and loan officers use Facebook, but they mostly use it to promote listings or themselves. And today we're going to be talking about how to get real leads and real business that you can convert into paying clients. So I want to welcome my friend from Hawaii, Kristen Robinson. Hey, Kristen.
Hi.
Kristen, you are such the expert in Facebook marketing, and what you've been able to do with it has been amazing. So I'm so happy that you're here with us today and that you're going to be sharing your story of how you produced, over 200 leads on Facebook in less than 23 days. So, yeah, we are very happy to have you here.
Awesome. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
And of course, I have to introduce my friend Matt Johnson, who always helps us out and moderates these free trainings for us online and makes sure that they go smoothly, because technology sometimes is not my friend. So I have to have good people like Matt and, of course, our technology director, Mitchell, around me, because sometimes when I touch it, it turns to broken. So, Matt, with Broken Funnel, welcome.
Thank you very much. And guys, one of the reasons I'm here and one of the cool things about doing these over Google Hangouts is that you can actually get your questions answered live. So what I do is I keep my eye on the Google Plus page where you're watching this video, and if you just type your questions in as a comment, I'll be able to bring them up to Kristen and Jenny at the right time and get them answered for you, at the very least towards the end of the show. And if there's anything that we can't get to, you're certainly free to leave a comment on the Google Plus page, and we'll go back and try to answer it after the fact. So that's kind of why I'm here. And so let's move into the bulk of the show, shall we say? So Jenny, what's the main thing? If you want to kind of introduce Kristen and tell us a little bit about how you guys met.
Well, Kristen and I are members together of a mastermind group, and I was lucky enough to sit next to her in one of our brainstorming sessions, and found out that she is genius with Facebook ads. But she also shared with me that, Kristen, you shared that you do have a real estate background as well. So, why don't you share with us, like, what it is that you do, what your background business is, and how, real estate's in there somewhere.
No problem. So I run KR Design. It's my company. We've been, it's been kind of a while, 5 years in the making. And basically, my background, I worked at House of Blues in Los Angeles. Long Beach Aftershock, that's a women's professional football team. They do exist. People go, oh my God, they exist. So I was running.
So wow.
I know, right? Wow, they exist. So I've been really running these companies, big or small. My mother even had her own casting company in Los Angeles. I was helping her run that. And when I struck out on my own, it was like, oh my gosh, how do I get clients? Because I've been doing it for everyone else for so long, and to do it on your own is a little bit harder. But how I knew I had a knack in marketing, I have to say my grandmother is the one who gave me my first shot. See, my grandmother is a real estate agent. She's been actually a real estate agent since 1979. She actually helped UCLA expand in that big deal a while ago, and was even senior vice president of California Federal back in the day. So she knows what she's doing, but this whole technology thing kind of scared her. And she's like, hey, since you're here for the summer, you want to help out your grandma with some deals and help her with real estate? So I said, fine. And my first job out of college was a Coldwell Banker. No offense, I am a Coldwell Banker girl. And I think the most amazing moment when I knew social media was the thing I wanted to do was my boyfriend then, husband now, he's a Marine. And he was in Beaufort, South Carolina. We have been doing long distance for 2.5 years. I knew I was good at real estate marketing. I knew I could do social media. And I was trying to find a job, and I couldn't find a job for anything. And one of the local Coldwell Banker franchises, he contacted me and said, I would love for you to be my marketing assistant. I will pay to relocate you out here. So he relocated me all the way from Los Angeles, all the way to tiny, itty-bitty Beaufort, South Carolina. And I worked for him, and then continued on to work at the local real estate publishing company, helping real estate agents market, and then I decided to strike out on my own after that.
Well, see, I didn't get to hear all of that background before. So, Coldwell Banker is a fabulous company. We have the #1 Coldwell Banker team in Alabama as one of our clients. So, we're a fan, and that gives you real world experience working and attracting clients into the real estate industry. Did you work for the company, like promoting the company, or did you work for helping get clients for a particular agent?
Well, specifically when I was in South Carolina, I worked for getting a particular agent. Now, the agent, though, also owned the company. So anyone who came onto his team, that's who I helped market. So he was getting about 3 or 4 agents on his team, and I was helping him do that. And then when I married my husband and relocated to North Carolina in Jacksonville, I started helping individual agents from Coldwell Banker to Keller Williams, helping them actually not only set up their social media, but actually helping them get clients, because it's one thing to actually do it, and we all think it's a great free tool, but you could be spending that time meeting customers, booking listings, doing showing appointments, and here you are toiling on Facebook trying to get this post out, and it's just, I know it's nerve-wracking. So I would come in and actually help them manage their time and show them the efficient and effective way to get clients using social media.
Okay, love it. Because, like I had said before, that there are, a lot of agents are very active on Facebook. They'll do a ton of posting on their personal pages, or they'll do, several, probably, I would say half, if not 65%, probably have business pages that they will update. But mostly it's postings on their own personal page, and it's usually like, here's a picture of my property. Some agents do go a little bit deeper, and they'll have a link to their website so that sellers can find out, how much a home is worth. And then some are doing Facebook ads or boosts.
Right.
So there's a whole, different way that Facebook can take your money. And
Yes.
what I want to know is, what's going to actually get some results for people. That's, of course, what I'm, concerned with the most, or providing results for people where they can actually, meet those leads and meet clients and convert those into, a paycheck.
Got it. What's really going to help is it depends on the goal of the agent. So one particular agent that I work with, listing agents, we always got to please the seller. How many people saw my house? When you put it in the report. And so I always tell agents who are doing that, you're probably more effective boosting the post. That's what you probably need to be doing, because boosting the post helps with visibility, not really getting leads so much. So if you boost the post to your, the people that like your page and their friends and things like that, you'll get a lot of views to the property, which is great, because that's what you want. You want the property to be viewed, so people will look at it and possibly want to show it, and they'll buy it. So that's one way of looking at it. Now, if you're a buyer's agent, you're looking at that side, and you're like, well, I want more buyers, then you most likely probably want to do a real ad through the Power Editor. You don't want to do a boost post. As a seller's agent, you can do that too. If you want to get that other half of the deal and you want to bring in more buyers that way, you're more than welcome to do that. You don't have to use either or. But if you're a buyer's agent, that's where you should be really putting your focus on, is getting those leads with a Facebook ad, using the Power Editor, and driving traffic to your website or to that contact page to really get them to opt into your customer database, your drip funnel, whatever it is that you have. But that's what you really need to be doing. Those are the most effective ways to use it.
Okay. All right. So what would you say is like the best way to get started? Yeah.
The best, I know, right? The best way to get started, and I say this with everyone, it doesn't matter what your industry is, but the best way to get started is you have to know who you're targeting. So many people think that getting on Facebook and attracting the millions of people there is the best way, because if millions of people see it, then I'll get calls, and that's not true. It's so much more effective to show your ad to the right people and a small number of the right people than a huge number of the wrong people, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
So the easiest thing I tell people to do is this. Go to your printer, take out one of those blank papers, the little white paper from your printer, go get some colored pencils, some markers, and some crayons, and draw out the person that you want to target. And draw it out to the detail that it looks like a picture that your kid would put on your refrigerator. That's what you need to do. I know that sounds simple, but it's so the truth.
Great advice.
I mean, even if down to the smallest details. Is there a fence? Is there a dog? Is there a tree in the yard with a tire on it? Is the sun shining? Is it cloudy? How many kids are there? What does the house look like? Is it, is there grass in the front yard? Is there not grass in the front yard? Maybe it's an apartment building. Maybe it's a subdivision. Maybe it's a golf course at the lake. I have no idea. But whatever it is, you need to draw it out to that point that it's visual to you. And the more visual it is to you, the way easier it is for Facebook to see that person too. Because if you're vague and just saying, okay, I want anyone who's 25 to 45, who's single, divorced, married, and widowed, who lives anywhere in the United States, there we go. That's my perfect client. Facebook's like, okay, we'll show it to all of these people. And I hate to say it, it's one of those things Facebook says, it's not our fault. We just show what you put in. That's what happens. So it's user error. But if you know exactly who it is and you can tell Facebook exactly who that is, that helps you out even more. So I know that sounds kind of elementary, but trust me, many of my clients have done it and it works out perfect. They know exactly who it is. And when that person comes through, they don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, it's that person again. Like I can say this, we're all real estate agents. We all know that person that calls. And we're like, oh my gosh. You know what I mean? We're like this.
Yeah.
But when you put that in, you actually draw it out. But when you put that in, draw it out, you're not going to have that anymore, that client, because you know exactly who that client is. You know what they want. You have a great idea of understanding of what it is that they're looking for. And you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, I hate like 80% of my clients. You're going to love 80% of them. So that's what you really want to do, is be very clear on who it is you're trying to target.
Because you're attracting the right people.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is list out all the details and then maybe list out the person who wants those details.
Every single detail. What do they look like? Everything. Are they married, not married, divorced, widowed? I mean, everything you can know about this person, to the point where you're really just talking to one person. You don't want to... We talked about this in our business mastermind. We have multiple clients going on. And in Facebook, unfortunately, you can only focus on one client type at a time anyway. So, you may have numerous pictures on your refrigerator like your kid does, but, focus on one picture, one person, what's there, what's in it. And once you've mastered that, move on to the next type of client and keep going. But, you have to be really specific, because if you're not, Facebook can't help you. It makes it very difficult for them to show the ad to the right people.
Okay, so you would even go as far as to say like net worth, interests?
Yep, net worth, interest, what magazines do they read? As much information as you can get, it will help you even more. If you don't know what magazines, what coffee shop, don't fret. It's not a big deal, but you want to at least get the basics. I mean, like I said, just get a printer paper, draw it out with some crayons, sun shining, tire, all that stuff. Just get the basics down so that when you're clear, Facebook can be clear too.
And agents, exactly what she is saying, I've discussed with you a lot of times about, who is that target? Who's going to buy this house? And if you are stuck trying to figure that out, then ask the seller who they were when they bought the house. And that will give you an excellent starting point. And then meet some of the neighbors and find out who's recently moved in, so you can really get a feel for who is attracted to the neighborhood, to that floor plan, to that piece of property in particular. And then you can fill in these blanks that Kristen is talking about, so that you can get very, very hyper local sensitive and targeted with your Facebook ads. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Well, I have found that it does work, because it could be a dog lover. It could be somebody who is just getting married. It could be somebody who's single who is about to get married. It could, neighborhoods go through phases, and normally you'll see the same types of people moving in at the same time. A lot of that has to do with price ranges and locations to schools and whatnot. But you'll have people that are attracted to certain pieces of properties, and then you can form your message that goes directly to that particular person, because you, like what Kristen said, is you don't want everybody to hear that message because they're not going to receive it. When you get the right message to pinpoint to that right person, then you're going to have a greater success. So would you say that, what kind of call to action do you use, Kristen? Is it, do you ask for a showing? Do you ask for, additional information, for the consumer to be able to contact you?
Good question. So Facebook ads, you have to remember that many of these people are going to be very cold leads. They just saw you in their news feed. They have no idea who you are. So I tell people it's kind of like dating. So when they first see you, it's, when you first meet someone and you're like, oh, you're attracted to them, do you immediately ask them for dinner? No, you ask them to coffee. You start really small, or you go, hey, or not even coffee. It's like, hey, can I get your number? Like, let's talk. Like, let's try this out and see if it's even a good fit. So when you're doing a Facebook ad, you want to be like, hey, contact me now to get a showing appointment. You probably might want to go, hey, here's like a guide to help you out find the right mortgage lender. Here's a guide for you to go and find the right house before you contact your agent. How do you find the right agent? So you might want to start with something really small that's easily digestible and something that's not a huge commitment. Because if I don't know you and you're like, yeah, I'm going to show you a house, you're like, whoa, hold on, wait a minute, time out. It's how do you know? How do you know who I am? How do you know I want to see this house? Wait a minute, how do you even know if I'm even in the market looking for a house? Like, you're just assuming all of these things about me. How dare you? Like, how could you do that? So you have to think about it that way, that they don't know you, and then you have to earn their trust to sell to them. So that's really, really important. That's when I'm sure you talk about this, the drip funnel and all that, and the keep in touch campaigns. All that is really, really important, because it's like dating. Once you get them in, it's like, well, how do you court them? How do you earn their trust to say, okay, look, this is great. We've nurtured this long enough. Let's take it to the next step, and let's make that commitment and trying to get you into a house, or trying to get you to sell your house, whatever it may be. So yeah, I hate to say it, it's like dating. you got to build the relationship and the trust.
I think you're absolutely right. And so I think a lot of times agents feel like because they didn't get someone asking to see the house from their post, that they feel like it's a waste of money and a waste of time. But I do think that you're absolutely right, is you lead them to the next step. And the next step is, solving another, issue that they might have. And that, the mortgage, the guide to getting the right mortgage is good, especially if it's that first-time home buyer target market, or maybe an update on today's market, as far as graphs or sales, what to expect in today's market, like a one-page PDF. So here's the question I normally get, and this is actually what happens, Kristen, is that the agents don't know how to make that happen, how to make that next step happen. They know the call to action of, hey, call me or text me to see it, but it's too much thought for them to say, okay, I need to get this extra material for them to download, and where do I have it? Is it on my website? And then they just say, forget it. I'm just going to boost this listing and move on.
Okay.
This is how it works, and I want to help you through this, agents and loan officers too, because you can use the same method to get clients, real paying clients for you. What do where do we find that gap right there? How do we close that in? Because that's the struggle, I think, for results.
That's a good question. And the funny thing is, most of you agents have it lying around your office. I think that's what makes it so hysterical. They're like, I don't know what to put. It's like, I'm sorry, does your mortgage lender, the preferred mortgage lender don't they send you like a weekly newsletter type of thing anyway with stuff in it? Or don't they drop off articles at your office? Like, it's all around you. You just don't think of it that way, I think, is the best way to describe it. So when you guys get that marketing, thing, that newsletter that comes in your inbox, just take, you know, it doesn't even have to be a PDF. Snapshot that little bad boy and say, okay, great, here's a snapshot of what I got. There you go. There it is. It doesn't have to be something that's overly complicated. Every real estate agent company, every real estate office has that how to find the right real estate agent. We all have it. I've seen it. I've worked at 6 different offices. You guys all have one. You know, use that.
Yeah.
You guys, and it comes in a nice PDF for you with pictures and everything already. So what I'm trying to say is it doesn't have to be super complicated that you have to change that, you know, well, in the business world we say free gift or ethical bribe, whatever you want to call it, that thing to get them your email address, whatever you want to call that item, that object. It doesn't have to be something that's overly complicated and change every week. It could be that same how to find the right real estate agent guide. You know, I've been using the same free gift for almost 3 years. It never gets old. I just update it when Facebook updates it. That's it. It's nothing, anything special or spectacular. So you could be using the same thing and make it way easy on yourself with stuff that you already have lying around the office.
That's a great tip. Okay, so where do you put it? Right? And of course we're going with lead capture too. So you see where I'm headed.
Yeah, exactly. So what you want to do is, and we're just going to go with this by how to find the right real estate, for practical purposes, how to find the right real estate agent guide, whatever, you know, whatever. So we're just going to go with that. And what you want to do is, everybody has this, even online marketers, we all have a system where when they enter their email address and they type it in like this, an autoresponder kicks in or some type of email kicks in that says, thank you so much for, you know, signing up for this. Here's your free gift, and it has a little link with the PDF. We all have it. Real estate agents, loan officers, I know you guys have it too because I've worked with you guys. You guys have it. I have it. You guys have it. So it's just a matter of, on your back end, making sure that that email has the link to that PDF, which you can house on your own website. It's not, you know, just upload it to your website. And that they have the link to download it. And that way you have their email address in your database. They have something for free that they can easily digest. And by the way, easily digest does not mean make it 20, 50 pages. Make it like 15, 20, make it short. Make it, like I said, make it easy on yourself. Make it 15 pages at the most. They can easily digest it. And then what you want to have is your contact information on the very last page. It's a great thing, especially you're saying how to find the right real estate agent, and they're like, oh, wow, this is great. Well, hey, I might be the right one for you. Contact me here. Remember, like you said, you're leading them to the next step. So if they have your book, what's the next step? Probably to contact you, because otherwise, why would they be downloading that ebook to find the right real estate agent? They're probably looking for one. So why not put your name in the hat and say, hey, I might be the right one for you? So you want to make sure that your contact information is at least on the last page, if not, somewhere on the cover of that ebook. So you want to make sure that all that's there so you can lead them to the next step, and which is to hire you as their agent.
Well, and you can use a system called Lead Pages. Lead Pages works really well. It's very inexpensive, and they'll teach you exactly how to put their call capture information on the back end and how to auto-populate it as well. So that's, a tool that you can use, and it's fairly easy. I do know when I say fairly easy, I can giggle because I have to surround myself with people who know how to do these things, but I'm just sharing. I know how to make that happen. I know who to ask. But one of the things that we have found that works really well, Kristen, and Matt, you may have seen this too, is the 5 best buys in your market. And you can look that up. That is quick. That shows your expertise, and everybody wants a deal. And a deal can be in any price range. Okay, you can put the 5 best buys in a certain neighborhood or section of town, or and you just do your research. The ones that are really good buys are going to pop out at you when you know your market well, and you can refresh that every 2 weeks, and that is an excellent downloadable PDF, because people are going to want the good buys. And when we've used that, in conjunction with email marketing, like through MailChimp or Constant Contact, our agents get sales out of that. They get real sales. So just imagine what it would be by using a Facebook ad with that. And anybody can do that. Anybody can do it. And loan officers, you can, talk about, 0% financing. You can talk about, how to get an easy refinance, cash out refinance, or you can talk about, the 3 quick ways that you can get a jumbo loan. So there are lots of different ways, exactly what she's saying, that gifts that you can, post to attract people. There's some feedback going on, but it's not So, okay, this is really good. This is meaty information. Matt, you see agents using Facebook all the time. What do you think?
Well, I've got a couple of samples here I can actually show you. So I've got a business partner up in the Bay Area.
You're so good.
And let me see if I can safely share my screen, and I'll share a couple of things. So he's got, I was able to get a couple of samples out of him of Facebook ads that they've ran that work. And this is, so this is the first one here. This is the graphic that they put in their Facebook ad. This is what would appear on either the right-hand side of the screen or that would scroll across somebody's newsfeed, and then across the top would be the text that drives people with the link. And so this would be obviously aimed at buyers, and then I'll show you one that they had aimed at sellers. This one is a little bit more specific. So Contra Costa County is their home county around their office, and it's driving to, I believe it might actually be a lead pages page, Jenny. So you mentioned that that's a system that they use as well, and it's what is my home value worth? So what I tend to hear and what I hear from agents that are working predominantly on Facebook, it tends to be the seller ads driving to the home value leads. We just did an interview with the guy from Prime Seller Leads that manages a lot of Facebook ads for top teams like Gary Ashton's team and just a whole bunch of people all across the country. They've tinkered with a lot of Facebook ads and a lot of different calls to action, and they're always experimenting, but what they found tended to work the best predictably over time was going after sellers on Facebook, driving to an area-specific home valuation page, which if you have it, great. If you don't, they're not that expensive. I mean, Jenny, you would know, I think it's Buddy Blake has freehousevalues.com. Fairly inexpensive home valuation system. And so, I mean, if you're going to run ads to some type of back-end system like Kristen was talking about, there's a lot of solutions out there that sell specific to agents. Prime Seller Leads and Prime Buyer Leads is a great one. You can do the free house values. There's a lot of listings to leads is another one. They're fairly inexpensive. You can have them set up the landing page, and then you just go and set up the Facebook ad that sends people to that page, and the page will do the rest for you. Capture the information, let you know the people interacting with the page, save the information. A lot of those systems have backends built into them already with email and drip systems set up. So all you have to do is just go in there and maybe customize them a little bit with your information, like your phone number and email, and probably the rest of the content is mostly written. So if you really want to shortcut it, there's plenty of services out there that will help you do it.
Wonderful. And, of course, Kristen can definitely help you do that, too. Okay, so you have to tell us, Kristen, how did you get 200 leads in 22 days?
Well, it's so funny. So I help entrepreneurs, mostly real estate agents, anybody pretty much in all these industries. And what ended up happening is, obviously, I'm a military spouse, and my husband, I'm always there at all the family days. I'm there at all the promotions, even his Marines promotions. I bake cookies almost every Friday. And these spouses were like, how do you do this? Like, I don't understand. Like, how do you travel? Because it's funny. I travel probably as much as he does. So I'm always traveling, but then, Friday morning, his Marines get cookies and milk. And they're like, how do you do that? Like, how do you possibly do that? And so I started mentoring military spouses in my husband's unit and was loving it. Had a blast, was loving it. And I had a little problem. The problem was I loved helping other military spouses because it was very transparent and easy to do. I mean, obviously, that's the life I lead. But the problem was I didn't speak military spouse fluently. I speak entrepreneur. So to go after military spouses, I was like, I have no clue what to say because everything was word of mouth, through my husband. It's like, oh, my wife does this. Oh, my wife does that. Oh, here's her number. Everything was through my husband or through the unit. I didn't really market myself. And so I was like, okay, it sounds really dumb, but I was just in this hole where I was like, I don't understand why I can't figure this out. I can market to real estate agents, I can market to online marketers, I can market to virtual assistants, direct sales, anybody else, but my own type of people in my own community that I live like, I can't communicate with them for no reason. And so I decided, you know what? Let me try Facebook ads. That seems to be working for everyone. I kind of know what pages to target. Let me see if I can make this work. And that's how it started. I had I had a very small list, about 200 people on my email list, and I went from 200 to 400 in 23 days, and those 200 were military spouses. If you fast forward to now, my email list is 1,200 about 6 months later, and I would say 60 to 70% of those people came through a Facebook ad. That's how most people hear about me now.
That's amazing. And that's your ideal client.
Yeah. Right. They find me and go, I want to do that too because I found you. How do I do that for me? And it's like, wow, let me show you how to do that. So, yeah, it's fun.
Now, Kristen, I've got a quick question for you. So you mentioned that you found people that liked a certain page. So first of all, how did you know kind of what pages to go after? And then did you structure your Facebook ads to target them specifically by the page that they liked?
Very good question. So with military spouses, it was a little easy. I just went to Facebook search and said military spouse and then clicked on the pages to see what we got. And Military Spouse Magazines won, Army Wife 101, and I just started doing that. And then the next thing I did was on my personal Facebook, I knew I'm friends with military spouses, so I asked them, hey, what Facebook pages do you look at? And pretty soon, I would say probably within a week, I had a list of about maybe 15 pages that I could target and use. So I was looking at those 15 and going, okay, how do I make this all work out? Because, 15 pages, that's a lot, and then some of them might not work and some don't. So what I started doing was split testing them. So this may be a little advanced, if some of you guys don't know, but just bear with me for a second. When you're using the Facebook Power Editor, there's a thing called ad sets, and those make different audiences that you can target. So if you have multiple audiences you want to target, you can do that. So what I did was I set up each Facebook page as its own audience because they do have their own audience. And then I was able to see, well, between what Facebook pages had the best response. And those 15 really narrowed down to like 4 really quickly. And so now I have the pocket of 4 that whenever I want military spouse clients, I have these pocket of 4 pages that I use all the time, and I get a really good response. And that's how I've been able to literally catapult from that 200 to 1,200 really, really quickly because I know now what 4 I need to use and then what gets their attention because I've been, testing those pages for a while.
And what were you sending them to? Like what kind of lead capture?
Good question. So this is, okay, so I'm going to let you in on a secret ninja tactic I've been using. Okay, so the first one I've been doing, I had a free telesummit. So I was leading them to the free telesummit at first. But now there's this new, for those of you guys who were following Facebook, we all know it's declining in organic reach. So anytime you post on your Facebook page, 2% of people see it. So if you have 100 likes on your page, only 2 people will see it. Now, if you're looking at the trend, you're noticing a lot of top online marketers are making Facebook groups. And what they're doing is they're getting people into these free Facebook groups. Free, right? Free. And they're getting them into these Facebook groups, and then they get to work the relationship in the group because now anything you post, they see it. And the ninja tactic is in order for them to get invited to the group, they have to opt into your email list. So they see your email list and they're in your group. So what I've been doing lately and what's worked like gangbusters, I can't tell you how awesome it's been. I started a Facebook group for military spouses. It's called the Military Women in Business Community. And the first week, we had over 120 military women sign up for this Facebook group in the first week.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, it's so funny. 120 of them, joined the group. 120 signed up. 90 of them actually took the next step to join the group. And then my other secret ninja tactic number 2, talking about lead pages. So what I did was I said, here's a free Facebook group that you guys can join. And then the very next page said, hey, just in case you are having some issues, why don't we have a consultation and talk about your social media? And about 7 of them took me up on that offer. So out of the 120, 7 of them said, hey, I want to talk to you, and I want to, and I want to have a conversation. And 3 of those ended up being a new client of mine. So I would say not bad for spending about, how much did I spend? About $200. 120 new leads, 3 new clients, in 1 week. So it worked out really great. So that's the new secret ninja tactic that you're seeing now, is the free Facebook group, and it allows you to build that relationship, but also allows you to be in their face, because what do we do on Facebook? We're always checking our phone on Facebook all the time. So if someone posts in the group, you're looking at in the group, or you're looking at least once per day. So now you're in front of your prospects and your prospective clients at least once a day, which is invaluable. That's priceless.
You're in front of your ideal.
Exactly. Priceless, to be in front of their face once per day, and you get to be the leader of that group. It's amazing because you get the feedback. What are they looking for? You get to put your articles, showcase you, because it's your group. You get to lead them where you want to lead them. So you're seeing a lot of online marketers going to that tactic. It's time consuming because it's a group and you have to moderate it. But can you imagine 100 ideal clients in one place, and they see you every day? Every day they see you. So it's an amazing ninja tactic that I'm loving. I'm seeing great results from it.
Hey, Jenny, let me ask you. Can you see agents, or have you seen agents actually take that Facebook group idea and use it to start, let's say, a neighborhood Facebook group for their farm area?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, what I put together a plan for one of my agents who grew up in a certain part of town, like in a city outside of Birmingham. And it's like a suburb, but it's its own very cliquish city. And sometimes it's hard to get attention and get a breakthrough in that city. So we analyze together like what she has to offer and what she can contribute. And so I recommended that she start her own Facebook group. That she has 2 children. And I said, you need to, use what you got and be involved in the moms and start a mom network for that city. And because who tells about real estate and passes it along more than anybody else? Mamas. Mamas rule the school. Mamas know everything that's going on around town. And it has worked beautifully for her. She sent out her invites, and just like what you said, Kristen, I said anytime a real estate agent joins, you politely get them out of the group. Because you can control it. And it's a place where people don't go to get marketed to over and over. It's a place where you're building relationships and you're building community together. And I'm a part of the group, and I get to see them talking about who got so and so for their teachers at school, and what, my daughter came home wearing mascara. Is that appropriate? And they do coupons for business owners that want to really drive discounts to the group. They share recipes together, and then every once in a while, our brilliant agent says, hey, come by my open house this Sunday in this neighborhood. Certainly y'all must know somebody who wants to move up to this house. And it's working beautifully. She is on track to do well over 6 figures, and she's controlling her time, with the baby at home. So it's been fun. Yes, Matt, I have seen where it is working. Some other ideas that I have had for that are, I had an agent in another city in Alabama. He's in Tuscaloosa, and he is a true dog lover. I mean, the dog goes on every showing, is at the office with him. I mean, he is a dog lover. He prospects at the dog park all the time, and I suggested that you do Tuscaloosa Dog Lover group, because you could really get to, those are the people that he would want to hang out with. and they would be totally, fine with seeing a house and the dog comes along. And he could say, bring your dog. That would be like an ideal group to hang out with. So yes, definitely, I have seen that work. Several of our agents have just the neighborhoods and community set up on Facebook, and I feel it's a beautiful thing, because it's not some place where they're beat up and marketed to. It's a place where you're building community.
Yeah, and Kristen, you can speak to this as well as anyone. It's all about give, give, give before you ask.
Yes.
Yes, very true.
Now,
Yeah.
Kristen, I mean, is there any big mistakes that you see people making? I mean, obviously, it's easy to fall into you make a graphic or something on Facebook and you realize you've got too much text in there. So I wanted to make sure you get a chance to talk about just some of the things that are unique about Facebook ads, like the 20% rule, and maybe some other mistakes that you see people making when they're trying to do Facebook ads.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that Matt just mentioned is the 20% text rule. So you're only allowed, I love the images that you showed because it's perfect. You're only allowed so much text, and I think people forget that the image is just to grab their attention. It's not meant to tell them everything. Just grab their attention. If they love it, they'll go up top and read the text. And same thing goes with the text. People want to put everything in the text. Now, I know you could put 5,000 words in an ad. You can. And just because you can doesn't mean you should. So, I'm sorry, it's the truth. But the point is, a Facebook ad.
Copy sells.
I know, right? No. Remember,
After they're interested, Matt. After they're interested.
That's right.
On Facebook, remember, you have literally less than 1 second to grab their attention and for them to click through. 5,000 words is not going to help in that less than 1 second moment. So the image needs to grab their attention. The text needs to be brief and say what they're going to get. You want to have a headline or a question that resonates with them. Are you blah, blah, blah? Or, hey, here's this, you want to ask a question that resonates with the problem you're trying to solve, or a bold headline that you're going to help solve that. Give them the benefits of why they should click through, and that's it. Because the thing is, if you put too much information, they will disqualify themselves. So if you're like, hey, I'm showing a house on Sunday at 2 o'clock, and it's going to be, this is a perfect example. We're showing a house on Sunday, September 13th at 2 p.m. I'm sorry, I'm going to look at your ad and go, I'm sorry, NFL's on. Sorry, can't come to your house. It's not going to happen. I got something else. Versus if you would have just said, hey, check this house out, I might put the DVR on the NFL game and go to your house because I can watch my NFL game later. But if you put so much detail, I will find ways to disqualify myself so I won't take the next step. So I think that's probably the biggest mistake I see is people put too much information. They want to be so transparent.
And especially in real estate, when what a buyer wants to know is price, bedrooms, and bath. And so that is the kiss of death when you put price, bedrooms, and bath. People will automatically disqualify themselves, and you know this by being in real estate. A family with 5 kids sometimes will buy a 2-bedroom house because they fell in love with it for emotional reasons. So if they disqualify themselves for logical reasons, you're going to be missing out on a lot of good leads or prospects, by providing too much info. You want to provide the lifestyle information to attract them if you're promoting the listing itself. But I do think that when you're promoting the examples that you stated on PDFs or the extra help or what Matt had showed, you're going to get better responses from things like that than you are another house.
Right.
So, for instance, I'll give you a great another idea. The 5 Best Buys is probably one of the best tips that you could get to get some really good results and get some people really wanting that PDF. But another story, I guess we could say. This morning I was running numbers for one of our teams, and the team has already sold over $40 million in volume this year. They're crushing it. They're having a record-breaking year. But more importantly, they've saved their buyer clients over $1 million already this year. And, imagine that headline. Ask us how we've saved our clients over $1 million on the purchase of real estate. right? And we want to help you save money too. Click here to find out, right, the 5 ways that we make that possible.
Exactly. Perfect. Like that's it. Perfect. Don't go any more than that. That's perfect.
Well, and then you have to have the back end set up, but it's a great, just like what you said, attention getter, where people are going to be, wait a minute, that, I want to know more about that. Because a lot of times consumers will see real estate agents as a tour guide with keys when they're going to buy a house, especially if you've got house after house after house in your news feed. And I'm not saying not to do that. Kristen has shared some ways to do that, and so has Matt. But yeah, you make those houses to your direct, very, hyper-targeted audience, so that you're not crowding your newsfeed and that people don't hide you on Facebook.
Exactly. I think, and this is the second biggest mistake I see, and this is maybe not like, it's not Facebook ad specific, but it's Facebook specific. I see a lot of people marketing on their personal profile. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially a lot of people go, well, I get so much better response on my personal profile. And I totally understand that. I mean, I sometimes do too. But you have to remember that it's against Facebook terms and conditions to put commercial stuff on your personal profile. That's why they created business pages, for you to do that. And so I think a lot of people forget that part, is like they'll start to market it and they'll keep doing it a lot and a lot and a lot, and then you get wondering, wait, I had 500 friends, why am I down to 200 friends? Like, what just happened? It's like, because you marketed way too much on your personal profile. I'm saying, don't get me wrong, if you want to put it out there and you have friends and family that love this area, be like, hey, if you know anyone, please help me out. There's nothing wrong with that. But you don't want to use your personal profile as your business. That's why we have business pages. And this is specifically why I'm so passionate about Facebook ads, is because this helps you get in front of the people that you really want to get in front of, and the people who are going to be either, and increase your chances of getting in front of people who are hot right now. On your friends and family, let's be honest, it might take a while. They'll probably see and go, oh, I need to talk to blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'll put that on my list. Next thing you know, that lead is like 6 months later and maybe bought from someone else. Versus, if you did these tactics, everything that we're talking about, you might see some hot leads come through like automatically very quickly, not just over time in 6 months. So that's one of the other biggest mistakes that I see people make on Facebook.
You're so right. So what are we talking about budget-wise? Like, what would you recommend, a good monthly budget be for someone using Facebook to attract clients?
Okay, this is funny because everyone thinks it takes like hundreds and millions of dollars to advertise on Facebook. And I tell people, if you can sacrifice your 2 daily Starbucks lattes every day
for
30 days, that's your Facebook ads budget right there. If you go to Starbucks twice a day and you buy the latte, just do me a favor, go to the local grocery store, go get the Starbucks thing for 30 days, the big box, and just put that aside, and then what you normally would purchase, your daily Starbucks latte twice a day, use that. So if you think about it, that's about $10 a day. I know you'll probably hear a lot of different numbers out there, 5, different numbers. I say 10 for a specific reason. 10 is when you can tell if it's working. You can tell if a Facebook ad is working within 24 to 72 hours. That's when you know when it's working. But the problem is, if you use a really low budget, like $5 a day, it's really hard to see that, because you might get 0, you might get 1, and if you spend $5 a day, it's really hard to tell, well, did I put enough budget towards it? Did I really, does it really making a difference? Versus if you put $10, it's like, if you're getting 2 or 3 leads, then you're like, okay, this is working. You start to see a little bit more. On the flip side, don't go, oh my gosh, I'm going to put 50 so I can get 10 right away. Don't do that. Because like I said, it takes 24 to 72 hours to know if it's working. If it's not working, you're out $150 versus the $30 you could have been out of. So you want to test it $10 a day, very simple, and then scale up from there. And that's exactly what I did. I spent $10. I got 2 leads the first 24 hours, and I said, okay, well, let's scale this up to 20. Then I was getting, 6 leads a day. Then I said, oh, well, let's try 50. And next thing I know, I'm getting like 15 leads. I'm like, sweet. And that's how it was able to go up, because I scaled it up every day that I saw that it was getting, traction. So you want to start really small, because that way, if it's not working, you didn't blow like, hundreds of dollars like most people do.
Yeah, find what's working and then scale from there. That's a pretty good lesson.
Exactly.
So that there's an agent here in LA. When they first started testing Facebook ads, they only ran them Thursday to Sunday. They would shut it off and then return calls to the leads Monday through Wednesday before they turned the ads back on. That way, they never got flooded with more leads than they can handle, no matter how well the ad happened to perform. And that way, they never, they always spent within their budget, and they were able to put, I think they probably put 15 to 20 in per day, but then only ran it 4 days at a time. So they knew exactly what they were going to spend, and they didn't have to worry about forgetting about it running. They didn't have to worry about letting it run every day. So that's another possible option, especially if you're like testing things out to find what works. Run it for a few days, put some money into it, and then evaluate.
Awesome. I love that. That's so cool.
So Kristen, what's the best way for people to kind of take the next step with you and learn more about what you do in coaching, and kind of take the next step to learn more about how to get involved with you?
Cool. So you guys should see it. It says myfacebookadsecrets.com, and that's literally how, it's a step-by-step guide, how I did the 0 to 200. So I talk about the text, I talk about how to make the image, how I targeted my audience. So I tell you how to do it, and then I have a little section called how I did it. And I tell you exactly what I did to do it, how to target, all these things we talked about. So it's my free gift to anyone, who's watching this presentation. Go to myfacebookadsecrets.com, and you're more than welcome to do that. And then you'll also get the opportunity to have a discovery session with me. So if you feel that you want to take it the next step, you want to work with me one-on-one, we can have a discussion and talk about that if you wish.
I am so going to get those secrets.
You're more than welcome to.
Awesome.
So is that also where they can check you out further? What's your web address?
So my website is Kristen, my name, KristenRDesign.com, and that's when you'll find, my radio show. I have my own show like you, Military Women in Business Radio, the blog post, what's coming up, what are we doing, all the exciting things that we're up to, and that's where you can find more information about me and Care Design as a company.
That's wonderful. So what you can do is, if a real estate agent or loan officer wants to personally work with you, then you can help them alleviate all of this, what next, and help them get it done in the background, right?
Exactly. It's so funny. Like I told you, my background is in real estate. I've done that for a really, really long time. My first 3 jobs out of college, it's so funny. My first 3 jobs out of college and the last 3 jobs I had, not that I have my own business, have been working with real estate agents. So, at one point in my business in Jacksonville, 90% of my clientele was real estate agents. I go to one company, work with 6 agents. Tuesday, go to this company, work with another set of agents, and that's what I did primarily in Jacksonville, was work with real estate agents. So I know the background, and you know what it is. I'll say this much, and hopefully no one else will see this, but I really like working with real estate agents because, I hate to say it, most of you guys are all technically ready and savvy. Like you guys have to know what's going on to attract your buyer. So I'll say those are probably my most favorite clients to work with, because there's not really a lot of technical explanation. Like talking with you guys, I feel like I'm talking to another online marketer. It's not really much I have to describe and say what an opt-in is. And they know how important this is to their business to be online and have that presence. So they're a very special type of entrepreneur that I really do love working with. Truly, I do.
Well, you've shared a lot of great tips with us today, and agents, loan officers, definitely go and download her free gift, because, she already gave us a couple of secrets. I know that you'll get even more at myfacebookadsecrets.com, so definitely check that out. And we've got a couple of, let's see, our next Google Hangout is, as I'm looking at my notes.
I think it's September 14th, right? 1 p.m. Central.
Yes, that's right. And we're actually going to be talking about how to discover your unique edge. One thing that I feel we do the best at Get a Real Estate Life is we help people find out what makes you really special, what makes you stand out of the crowd, and what you do either better or differently than your competitors do, and why people want to do business with you, and then we kind of help you develop that and get your message out. Well, we're doing that for all small business owners now, So join us. Make sure you register. It's free online, and we're going to be really discussing ways that you can stand out to your clients as well. So we will definitely catch you on the next one. Kristen, what do you have coming up?
Gosh, well, I have my own Facebook webinar coming up, teaching, people how to really use this and then what the next step is. So I'm actually having my own free training in a couple of weeks doing that, and I'll be off to DC speaking about Facebook ads. So honestly, the rest of the year is going to be a lot of fun with a lot of virtual speaking and a lot of live speaking. So I'm really excited. It's going to be fun.
Well, I thank you so much for you joining us today. And Matt, it's always a pleasure for you to moderate and help us out. And
yay, Matt!
Thank you very much.
You're so awesome today. Thank you.
Yeah, and sadly, I didn't see any questions come up on the Google Plus page. So if there's anything, guys, that come up that you think of after that you did not get a chance to ask or that we didn't discuss on the Hangout, just post them as comments on the Google Plus page. I'll get an answer from Genny or Kristen and get back to you on that as much as I possibly can. I'm sure Genny is the same way, checking back with those Google Plus pages. And guys, if you're watching the replay of this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the Get a Real Estate Life channel right here on YouTube. That's what lets YouTube know that you like this type of content. And that helps, obviously, the channel. It helps Genny and make sure that her videos are seen. But it also helps you because when a new video comes out from Genny or any of the other coaches there on staff, it goes right to YouTube and it will let you know that a new video is there and available to watch. So make sure to subscribe on YouTube.
Thanks so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you on the next 60 Minutes to Six Figures. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.